on this computer. I did it. We did it. So it looks like it's working all right. I don't know what that message is, but I'll have to check into that. If anyone else is having that API, it said something about API is deprecated. So if anyone else is having that and can give me any clue to what that means, let me know. So yay, here I am, my favorite day of the week, Thursday morning, when I get to put a spotlight on somebody amazing and bring them into the Rise Above Noise community. So I usually start off by giving a digital marketing tip of the week. Now, we're talking Instagram, and honestly, you guys, I know a little bit about Instagram, just enough, like just enough. I'm not working it. It's not where I spend my time, but I think it's super effective, and Lauren's going to be telling us about that. But I want to say that no matter what, I think my tip will be this: no matter what platform you decide, one or two, like go in on one or two and do them really well. But here's the other thing, and we're going to talk about algorithms, and we're going to talk about personal branding, and we're going to talk about like creating a long lasting audience. And Lauren will go into that, so I'm not going to, but what I am going to go into is where I come from with my digital marketing tips for my audience, which is no matter where you are, understand that somebody needs to hear from you today. And so no matter what service you provide, no matter who you're serving, there's somebody out there that wakes up at 3 in the morning. I woke up at 3 yesterday morning, like, I'm one of those people now. I had this thing I had to sit down and figure out at 3 in the morning. That's unlike me. I sleep like a rock. Somebody's waking up at 3 in the morning and they're worried about something, and they just don't know how to get around what it is that they're trying to figure out. And they're going to start searching for their problems, solutions to their problems. But anything that they're doing while this is in the back of their head, anytime they're scrolling, anytime they're consuming any kind of digital content, they're looking to find themselves and to see that somebody else has the same problem, that other people have it, that it's not just them. And they're also looking to see who can help them with that problem. So somebody understands what the problem is, somebody has either been through it before or knows how to get by it, has clear steps to solve the problem, and you know exactly how to reach them. And so if you're that service provider, make sure that somebody knows that you understand the problem, that you can fix it. Let me tell you how, right? Like you tell them how you fix it, step 1, 2, 3. And then how do they get in touch with you to start solving their problem? So that's my digital tip of the week. And now I get to do the fun stuff and interview Lauren V. Davis of Lauren Davis Creative.
And Susan, hey, real quick, I was wondering if you could remind me the name of the Facebook group so I can go in and see comments being made there too, so I can make sure I interact at some
Sure,
point.
sure, sure. If that feels comfortable to you. Otherwise, while you're in your flow, I'll be monitoring. So there you have it. Lauren's
I
going to be
like
popping in.
multitasker.
She's good. She's good at this multitasking thing. I know. I've seen her in action. It's Rise Above Noise.
Great, that's it. I was like, it's like right on the tip of my tongue, and then
Yeah.
I kept thinking of only your name. So thank you.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting thing because I have been struggling with Facebook because I used to have a website, Susan Finn Online. Then I moved everything over to Rise Above Noise because I just like it better and it sounds good.
Yeah.
And Facebook is not allowing me to change the name of my business page from Susan Finn Online over to
Oh,
Rise Above Noise.
okay.
I did a
Yeah.
bunch of things yesterday. I'm hoping that they'll review it one more time. But the group, which is where I spend most of my time, Rise Above Noise, digital marketing for small biz owners. Okay,
Got it. I'm in.
yay.
All right.
So here's Lauren. Lauren, she says many people are intimidated and frustrated by trying to bring their personal brand to life through social media, live events, and public relations. So Lauren, who lives near Chicago, so it's a little earlier where she is today, she works with entrepreneurs all over the world to overcome that personal branding discontent so that they can go ahead and focus on sales, exposure, leadership, and community impact through her marketing consultancy, which is Lauren Davis Creative. She has a podcast called The Real Personal Branding Podcast and a free Facebook community called Understanding Social Media Marketing for Entrepreneurs. So get this, you guys. Lauren has been named one of the 20 people you should know, a person to watch, and a face of tourism in the Midwest. And she's also been recognized as an Up Next future leader by Gatehouse Media Publications. So when she's not running her two businesses in Rockford, Illinois, she also has, she tells us the other one is a brick and mortar vinyl record store. So cool. When she's not doing that, she's traveling the globe learning to better serve her clients with that knowledge. Lauren's natural and undying passion revolves around seeing people and organizations that do good succeed. I'm so glad you're here. Now, Lauren, when I asked you what your superpower is, you said that it's making social media feel less intimidating and scary, and that you can make social media fun for everyone. Gotta tell me more about that.
That is my goal. That's definitely my number one goal. And, you know, I feel like social media, like between the noisiness of just current events and just like in general, it being noisy out there, sometimes social media feels, it feels overwhelming, and it feels like it could feel like a time suck. It could feel like it's just like too much of a learning curve to keep hanging on to. So yeah, I try to make social media fun for you. I have a 30-minute presentation, but I'm going to try to make this to a 15-minute presentation. So what that means is I'm not going to really stop and say, hey, any questions with that? So what that means is feel free to just leave any questions in the chat on Facebook, any questions inside Zoom, and I'm sure Susan will gather them, or I will gather them at the end, make sure that I get those answered for you inside Susan's amazing group page, which is full of great information. So
that'll be awesome. And also,
yeah,
we'll be taking the conversation off we're going to end here pretty much at 10:30, and then we're both going to grab a drink of water and then hop on to Clubhouse. I'll pop the link for the Clubhouse event right in both of our chats as soon as I find it. And you can always find me at Susan Finn. And are you Lauren B. Davis?
I'm L Davis Creative, the same
L.
as
Davis
on
Creative.
my name tag here on Zoom.
Okay, perfect.
So L Davis Creative, that's where I'm at on Instagram. That's where I'm at on Clubhouse and pretty much everywhere on the internet. So,
awesome. Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
Good.
Well, I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to share my screen if that's all right with you. And we'll jump into this. Hold on a second here. Got my timer on just so I can keep track of time for you too. And 1 minute here. Sorry.
No worries. I do have a question already, but I think it's probably best to let you go in your flow, and we'll put this into I'll put it into the chat.
Perfect. All right. You can see my presentation?
I can, yes.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to talk Instagram success, positioning your personal brand on Instagram for a long-lasting audience. Oh, you can see my whole screen.
I see your whole thing. Yeah, you want to make that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Okay. Oh, boy. Why is that? There we go.
You could make that full screen. Oh, there you go.
Okay, there's the green thing. There we go. Yeah, let's not have a meta experience where you guys can see me, seeing you, seeing me. Okay. Okay, so Instagram success, positioning your personal brand on Instagram for a long-lasting audience. So the social media landscape is obviously always changing. I just want to give you a little bit of information about me, because I know I don't look like the typical like entrepreneur 10x everything type of person, and that's because I'm not. Definitely a Midwest girl. When I was 19, I started a record store with my husband. He's my boyfriend then, husband now. And we started this vinyl record store and this gift shop. I had no business experience except for growing up entrenched in some local business. My mom and dad had a local business. They separated. Then my dad was an economic developer. So I was always like around businesses, but I didn't really realize how much I was picking up until I was 19, started this record store. And we quickly realized that we had so much to learn. There was like a million different things that we had to figure out, and we didn't really know how to do that. We didn't know how to get people in the door. So I just got to work. I started thinking like, how can we make this business legendary? How can we make this business larger than life and amazing? And how can we make people really want to come into our store when they didn't even know us and we were young and we weren't really part of the community yet? And so we asked ourselves, how can we do this? So we got on every single marketing platform we could at the time, which was like MySpace, you know, if we all remember MySpace.
Yes,
It was
yes.
MySpace, YouTube, a little bit of Twitter. And as I was doing this and making business cards and flyers to hang up at like local libraries and all of this, I started realizing, what is it that I'm doing right now? Like, what is this that I'm doing? And I came up with, it's marketing, it's good design. I love marketing and design. And it just lit this fire under me that I really did not know I even had. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm meant to do with my life. So I quickly changed my major. I went back to school and got a design degree. I went back for marketing and business. And I started learning about what it takes to make a successful business, but what it takes to truly have your business rise above the noise. So this is when I started growing and expanding my network. So what happened was I was getting asked by tons of local businesses like, hey, Lauren, can you do this for me? And so, or can you help me? Or how did you do this? And so with that information, I started a local nonprofit for small businesses to help local businesses get more attention, have free education. And I started a social media conference through that nonprofit. Brought speakers from all over the country, and I started traveling all over trying to connect with speakers to bring them to my conference to learn from them. And eventually that led to me speaking, me having my own podcast, having my own very successful marketing consultancy. And so I feel sometimes like a different person that because I didn't really feel that I grew into this life with the intention of having it be there. I just something that found me. Like I feel like marketing and design and that passion truly found me, and I didn't necessarily go out to find it. So especially whenever I talk to high school students, I'm like, you know, play around with different things and see what's really fulfilling you and see what's really lighting a passion under you. So now I'm 33. I have a nearly 15-year education in marketing and small business, which is a lot, many more years than most people have at 33. But it's all, I tell you all of this not to brag, but I tell you all of this because what I teach is not something I learned on a YouTube video. It's not something I heard in one podcast. This is like almost half of my life has been spent in small businesses and actually owning my own small business, plus understanding marketing and understanding that whatever you do needs to be designed to sell, but also needs to be designed genuine to you and genuine to who you are. Okay, so whenever I talk to people about social media strategy, there are three main topics that come up, and you'll have to let me know in the chat. I have my chats pulled up. You'll have to let me know in the chat if this sounds familiar. I've been privileged to help a wide range of clients, like everyone from small businesses to big influencers, and I've helped them build out their social media strategy. And these are the three questions every single person has. So no matter who you are on the board, let me know if these questions sound familiar. Are my customers even on Instagram? How do I increase my followers who will buy from me? And where do I start? I have no idea what to post. So let me know if those questions sound familiar to you. Excuse me.
Yeah, Dee
I'm
says
so
she's
sorry.
at number 2. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. I'm so sorry for choking, and I can't find the mute button because I have no idea what just happened. Okay. So people are 16 times more likely to read a post from a friend than read a post from a brand. And I think that that's something really important for us to take into consideration, is that we are building our social media accounts to be friends with the people that we are around on social media. So if you can kind of flip that switch in your head and think about building relationships and building friendships online, as opposed to just making these sales, like that's where the change is going to happen for you. With everything the world has experienced in the last year, people being sick, you know, people under extra stress, I think that what we all need now is a little bit more personal relationship building, and people need something to hold on to. They need something that feels real. So here we go. So let's start with that first question. You can see that 75% of 18 to 24-year-olds are using Instagram, but I find the next two sets of age groups fascinating because they are growing more and more each year. And for a long time, people underestimated how many users there were in the 30 to 50-year-old age range, and it just keeps continuing to grow. So I want you to think about these numbers. This is the group of people on Instagram that is growing the most and growing the fastest. And I would venture to guess that a lot of us have clients and customers in this age group right here. Secondly, think about this number. It's even greater. And why is that important? It's important because in a matter of a few years, we're going to see this age group shift to the next bracket. Only 6 years is what it takes to shift to that next bracket. And so what my very, very poignant point is here is that Instagram is not just for teens, which is where people started by saying like, oh, well, if that's just for teens, we'll just let them have it. Now people say that about TikToks, like, oh, TikTok is just for people who are dancing and making videos. So like what I'm trying to say is think about social media platforms, think about how you can use them comfortably. But and you don't have to get overwhelmed and be on every platform. Pick a couple that you can really dive deep into, like Susan said at the beginning. But just know that Instagram is a really great place. It's the second most downloaded app for free on the Apple App Store. So if you consider that, like people are downloading it every day, and it's not just teens. 60% of people who make over $100,000 a year are on Instagram. And an estimated of 75.3% of US businesses were on Instagram in 2020. The fourth quarter alone, just the last 3 months of 2020, Instagram generated 6.8 billion US dollars. So yes, your customers are on Instagram. If we've learned anything here so far, it is that your customers are Instagram. And if you're having problems finding your community there, you might just need to start from the inside out. So how do I increase my followers who will buy from me? First step, we need to simplify how you think about social media and treat social media like real life. So eliminate the thought that you have to learn something new and overwhelming and start thinking about social media as real life because it is. So to give an example, let's think about a networking event or a conference. Imagine that you're at a networking event, post-COVID or pre-COVID, and there are a few types of situations that you might run into or be familiar with. So please let me know in the chat if there's any of this sounds familiar to you, okay? So you're at a networking event. There are a few types of situations. Situation one, the person comes up to you, they shove their business card in your face and do an elevator pitch at you, like literally at you. And your eyes just glaze over and you know this person doesn't care. And after they pitch you, they walk away. What is the likelihood that you will ever want to talk to that person again? It's just not going to happen, right?
Not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Situation two. We all know this type. They come up to you. They ask you a very directed, pointed question. You can see that as you are answering, they're just waiting to answer your answer and replying, barely listening, and just like looking past you, looking to the next person that they want to talk to. We don't feel good about these interactions at all, right? We probably don't even have any warm, trusting feeling about this whatsoever. We won't connect with this person beyond the meeting, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Situation three, my favorite situation, you get to a networking event, you spend time getting to know someone over the evening, you both have a big interest in one another's life, you pick up each other's information. By the next day, you're connected either on social media or by email, and later you set up a coffee meeting. After that coffee meeting, you might end up doing business together. You might refer them to friends. You're probably going to keep in touch with them later. And a lot can happen from this moment of divine connection. But it took so many real touch points to get there. It wasn't just, here's my business card, now we do business together. And so why do we think that when we go to social media that we are going to follow someone or they're going to follow us and then they're going to start doing business with us? It doesn't work that way. It's not that fast. It takes several touch points and it takes relationship building. So if social media is feeling forced and strained to you, consider if how you are using it aligns with how you make natural connections in real life. If something feels strained and forced, it's probably because it doesn't feel natural to you. And the reason it doesn't feel natural to you is because that's not how you make relationships happen in real life. So I want to be clear. Am I saying that the number of followers doesn't matter? No, of course, that's wonderful to grow your account, increase your followers. It's nice to have those vanity metrics, of course. And numbers, though, they're mattering less and less throughout social media, the numbers of how many people are following you. And I would like to make the argument that there's no point in having a ton of followers if they are not connected to you, they don't engage with you, and if they're not excited to hear from you whenever you make your next post or create your next story. So here's a quick example. I'm going to jump through this part really fast. But there's this influencer in 2017. She tried to sell her t-shirts. She had 2.6 million followers. She needed to make a 36 t-shirt minimum in order to simply keep her t-shirt thing open and like sell shirts. She could not make the 36 t-shirt minimum. She had 2.6 million followers. So people said, how did this happen? You know, like Twitter was on fire. They were like, how did this happen? And experts honestly said her case was not rare. With 2.6 million followers, what was in question was, are her followers real? The second question was, does she know what her followers want and desire? Chances are her followers could have been real. It looks like a lot of people like her photos. Her photos were very modelly. And a lot of people liked those or liked her fashion, but she wasn't cultivating her audience. So that answer to the second question, does she know what her followers want and desire? Probably not. They might not need another t-shirt, right? The most successful personal brands know their followers, know what their followers want from them. They review and analyze what their followers are particularly attracted to, and they market to that. So followers like to see the real you behind the scenes. They want to be part of the creative journey of your personal brand. They want to see the highs and the lows of you working to build something that you can share with them. And when they purchase, that is their way of having a piece of it. They want to have a piece of that puzzle. They want to have ownership in your success. And so at this point, you're probably thinking, thank you so much for these illustrative stories, Lauren, but how do I actually do this? And so the second step is that you start with 10 to 15 people who always show up to your posts and your stories. So that's what I always teach my clients first. It doesn't matter if they are the biggest influencer out there or the smallest, tiniest local business. This works for everyone. So if you remember, the first step was to think about social media like real life. Second step is that there are a few people that are your absolute biggest fans. And if I close my eyes, I can literally think of mine. It gives me the chills every time I teach this part, because I can actually think of the people who are this for me. There are a few people who show up to your posts. They like every post. They show up in your stories. They always watch your stories. Who are they and what do they do and what do they want to see? Those inherent fans already love you, and they love you not because they're forced to love you. They actually love you because of something magic inside you that makes you who you are. And it's your job to figure out what that is. So after that, that's when we start thinking about your intended audience. I'm going to explain more about that. But I wanted to put this out there. I love this graphic that popped up. I think Nisha Woolery said it first. This is where it is on the internet, wherever I find it. She said this, but I love this concept. 30 followers is like a coffee shop full of people. 100 followers is like a party full of people. 500 people is an auditorium full of people. And 1,000 followers is like a conference full of people. Now your audience does not seem so small anymore, does it? If you think about it in that perspective. In order to build a dynamic and impactful personal presence on Instagram, we need to stop thinking of our profiles in terms of followers and start positioning our audiences to be our long-term relationships. Your diehard fans and friends and family, no matter who they are, they want to see you succeed. So I want you to take your diehard friends on one side, your diehard friends and fans, and list out what they really want to see. List out what they do, who they are, and then do the same thing for your intended audience. So what are they really looking for on Instagram when they're scrolling through? What makes them pause? Who are they? These things are all very, very important. And then right there in the middle, that's your social content sweet spot. So when I say who is your audience, it might help if you draw this on your paper real quick, even if it's just on your notepad, like just chicken scratch it. But write demographic, geographic, psychographic, and behavioral. And then this is how you lay out the information for both the people who already follow you, those diehard fans that are always showing up, and the audience that you really want to be in front of. And some of them might overlap, of course. So who is your audience? A lot of times we think we start here with demographics, but there are a lot of other things to consider when thinking about your audience. For instance, geographic, psychographic, behavioral. Geographic is like city, state, country, community, address, religion, climate. Psychographic is values, beliefs, interests, lifestyle, activities and habits, opinions, personalities. Behavioral is how loyal they are to you and your organization, and patterns of past engagement. So when we're really breaking this down, we're really thinking about how our audience is showing up. Don't just think about where they are or what age and gender they are, but like actually think about their psychographics, their values. People, we hear this all the time. We know this through studies. People purchase things according to their values. It really has less to do, and it has a lot more to do with what they value in life. Okay, so now come back here. Where do those two things overlap? What do your diehard fans and friends want to see? What do they do? Who are they? What does your intended audience want to see? What do they do? Who are they? Where those two things overlap, that's where your content sweet spot is. So you say, okay, I paused this presentation if you're watching it on the replay, and I wrote out my demographics and my psychographics, and I'm kind of understanding now where they overlap. So now I don't know what to post. I feel a little bit lost here. Okay, where do I even start? Don't know what to post. Here's a cheat sheet list of high engaging Instagram content. So how to solve their problems, educational content, helpful advice, checklists, encouragement, inspiration, self-improvement, answers to frequently asked questions. These are big ones. Posts that describe your customers to themselves. So any self-identifying posts or posts that the customer can identify with as a person. They care about themselves first. No matter what, everyone cares about themselves first. That's just like even the most selfless people online, if they are scrolling through, they do care about content that helps them. Second, they care about you. So your background story, your why, your big idea, your team, your collaboration. So anyone you're collaborating with across the world, in your own backyard, anyone that is on your team or part of your team, even if they're a subcontractor, people like to know the ins and outs of how things work for you. Okay. Your mission, how daily tasks apply to your core values, and behind the scenes. So these are all high engaging Instagram content posts. They're all going to work for you. And actually, what I'll give you, Susan, is a link to, I made this free resource. It's 100 plus posts, post content ideas that you can use to, you can honestly craft multiple posts from each prompt. So I'll give you that after this too.
Oh my gosh, that's the best. So good.
Yeah. Okay, so cheat sheet of photo tips real quick, and I know we're winding down here on time. Experiment with lighting, think about color, include yourself, change up the angle, mix up your media, and appear as you want to be known. So when I'm saying if you want to be a speaker, make sure you're showing up in pictures as a speaker. If you want to be a podcaster, make sure that you're showing up in photos with that mic next to you. If you want to be known as a coach or a consultant, make sure that you have a couple pictures of you coaching or consulting or working with people on Zoom in your stories. Like, try to appear as you want to be known. Okay, so now we understand if our audience is on Instagram. We understand that our audience is a little better in general. We have started brainstorming a list of content ideas. And here's a few action steps to get more eyeballs on your posts, as well as a little bit more out of Instagram. So this is what I call my plan method for quickly analyzing your profile. So when someone comes to your profile, they'll probably review it for like 15 to 20 seconds. Make sure your bio is optimized and makes sense to someone who is coming to it for the first time. So do they know what you do right away? Check your pictures, check your links, check your overall appearance, and check your name. So what I mean by your pic, are you recognizable to people? Is it the same picture you use throughout different platforms? If they saw you at the grocery store, would they be able to know it's you from your profile picture? That is super important, especially if you're building your presence as a personal brand. Check your links. Where does your link go? Do you have a call to action that speaks to the needs of your customers? Check your overall appearance on the profile. Ask yourself objectively, is what I do for a living when I look at this profile clear, or who do I help? Lastly, just using one hashtag on Instagram can reach 12% more people. And I highly recommend creating a couple combinations of hashtags that have multiple different types of volumes. So always use several relevant hashtags on your posts, and then also mix up the volume. And when I say volume, if you can see there's little numbers underneath each of these hashtags as I look them up, that's the volume of the hashtags. So you want to make sure you have, people that think, oh, I need to grab the highest volume hashtags. Well, your post is not going to show up in a hashtag where there's so much volume and so many people are using it at once. So you want to get some of the lower ones, some in the medium range, and some in like the billions, right? So that way you have a chance of reaching a lot more eyes by choosing a wider selection of volumes. Lastly, Instagram's algorithm favors interest and relationship. So this is all from Instagram. They really favor people getting to know each other and having a relationship with each other. And so let me tell you a little bit more about what that means. It means that there's machine analyzing software that's actually breaking down on a granular level how things work in your pictures, what they look like. They're breaking down your text. They're thinking about your depth of your comments. So they're thinking actually about how in-depth and how contextual your comments are to other people. And they are checking who you're tagged with in pictures, checking who you're tagged with in stories. And the algorithm is putting all of this information together and saying, Lauren and Susan are friends. They are people that like getting to know each other. We're going to put each like content from Susan in front of Lauren, and we're going to put content from Lauren in front of Susan. So another one thing to remember is, who are you having direct messages with? Who are you having meaningful conversations with in comments? If you ever notice that people who talk to you, people who you talk with the most, those are the people who show up most often in your stories. They show up most often in front of your feed. And that's because Instagram's algorithm has determined that you have a relationship with. One question I get asked a lot is, how often should I post? And the answer to that question is as often as you can be consistent. So there's no right answer to that, but you need to be consistent in order to be able to test your content and look at the analytics from an objective view. So make sure that you are testing your content by posting consistently, and make sure that you are keeping your posts consistent over time, so you're able to test and see what people are really paying attention to. Okay, so now with this presentation, you can use these steps to position your personal brand on Instagram for long-lasting clients and major impact. And if you like what you saw today here, and you want my planning worksheet and breakdown of the Instagram algorithm, you can get that at this link. This is actually a link that will bring you to my 2 Instagram PDFs that help you. They'll help you plan out your next 15 posts. And then the other one is a 2020 algorithm breakdown. So I'm gonna probably change up some of that, because a few things did change in 2021. But I'm also gonna give you that 100 prompts post, Susan. So right after I stop sharing my screen, I'll go grab that, because that one is my newest resource, and it's got over 100 prompts for you to build content from on any social media platform. And thank you so much for having me.
I feel like I just won the freaking lottery. This was so good, Lauren. So good. We'll look for that. I do have a couple quick questions. I know we're going to hop over to Clubhouse, but a couple people put questions in here and they might not be able to join us. So Deb was asking about your personal, maybe you already covered this, but just like personal brand, your personal Instagram versus your business Instagram. And I think what I'm hearing you say is your business is you.
So she might be asking, and is she in the Zoom or in the Facebook one?
She's on Facebook right now. She has started.
So the thing she might be asking, and she can let us know in the comments.
Deb, you can let us know. Yeah.
The thing she might be asking is, should she switch over to a business account on Instagram with her personal Instagram page, because there is the ability to switch to a business account or a creator account. And when you do, that's when you get analytics. So if you are wondering if you should change your name Instagram to a business account in order to get those analytics, I would recommend it. There's no difference except for that you now get analytics. The only other difference is if you use music a lot, they are taking away music they take away like popular artist music, I would call it,
Yeah.
for business accounts, and they have like not royalty free music only on. I mean, that's like a minor detail, right? Like we can do a lot of things still. That's one of the only changes. And the other biggest change is that you can actually see your analytics, and with information and data like that, you can actually test things, and you can make adaptations and really get to know what people are reacting to, what they're responding to in your social media.
Awesome. Thank you.
Dee asked in the Zoom one, can you switch from business to personal easily? Yes, it's in your settings. It's literally just a lever. You're just like, bloop, now you're a business account.
So if I have a personal account
Yeah.
and I have a business account, I don't think I'd mind merging them. Is that possible?
There's no actual good way to merge them
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so no. But you can make one a business account. You do have to connect it to a Facebook business page.
Yeah.
So that's why you'll see like there's a lot of like influencers and bloggers and thought leaders and speakers that have a Facebook page for their name. It's a business page. It's like their speaker page.
Yeah.
That's because it's connected to their business personal brand Instagram account.
Awesome. Then there's a how-to question in the chat, but I'm actually going to leave that for you to answer
In Clubhouse.
later in the chat so that we can go to Clubhouse. I'm not sure if Holly can join us there, but her question is like a logistical thing. How do you connect Facebook business page with Instagram?
Oh yeah, seriously, that's definitely a Google question. Like it's like a lever, but it's in your settings. So if you
Awesome.
need a visual representation, like I'm telling you exactly what you'll find everywhere else. So if you go to like the settings in your Instagram, you'll just scroll down to accounts, I think, and then that's where you switch it to a business account. But just yeah, throw it in Google and it'll give you like a visual representation of how to do that.
I'm going to put the
Yeah.
link to Clubhouse once again in here. This was amazing. I feel like
Thank
this could have been
you.
like a whole half a day. I know that there's a million questions, so we'll get to those on Clubhouse, you guys. And also Lauren is already active. Like she is multitasking like crazy over here. So she's super available to answer your questions. Check her out online, get her freebie, and we'll see you over at Clubhouse.
Sure. And also I would just love to say, please, like, let's connect on Instagram. Send me a message. Let me know what you thought about this presentation. Let me know if I can answer any additional questions for you. I'm at L Davis Creative on Instagram too. So let's connect.
Yes.
Okay.
So good. All right.
Okay,
I'll see you on the other side.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.